What is so special about an ordinary person, just like us, coming into our life, and we call him perfect living master? Where do these words come from? We call such a person living master because he is alive in a human form. We are not talking of somebody who's already passed away, and when we think we can talk to a past master, we believe we are talking to a master, we are talking to our own mind. Any number of tests can prove that when we talk to old masters, it's our own mind speaking back to us. We can never be sure. And the mind tells us stories that we like to hear. The mind likes to hear. Therefore, a living master is one who can tell us, no, this is not correct. He's like us, ourselves. But why call him perfect master? Because all imperfection is created by the mind. And beyond the mind is only perfection. And therefore, he operates while in a physical body from an awareness which is beyond the mind. So we call him a perfect master. So that is why only such human beings who have attained the state of awareness beyond the mind, we call them as perfect living masters. We can never find them because they live like us, they're ordinary people, and they have not come to show off that they are masters. They never say they are masters. They never claim to be masters. They live like us, but they find us. Since we cannot know them, they come and find us. How do they find us? Because they are operating at all levels of consciousness at the same time. They are operating from the level of oneness, where they are simultaneous with us. They are the same like us. They are one with us. And therefore they know where we are as seekers. Therefore they come into this play of ours and join us wherever we are in order to take us back home, because that is our seeking. So that is why these perfect living masters, ordinary people with the awareness of totality, awareness of all levels of consciousness, they are the ones we call perfect living masters. We cannot find them, but they can find us. That is why they say in India, when a chela is ready, guru appears. When a disciple is ready, a master appears. He does not say when a disciple is ready, he can find a master. He will appear. How will a master appear? He will create circumstances and coincidences by which he will appear. He will appear out of nowhere because we will think it's just an ordinary coincidence, ordinary thing happening, and suddenly he'll appear. We may not recognize him on day 1, we may recognize him on day 10, but something will happen to us which will give us a feeling that we have been waiting for that moment. Something will tell us that we are being pulled by a very subtle kind of love, and we can't explain what is pulling us. Only a little while back, to a small group, I was explaining that my master, great master Baba Sawan Singh, he pulled so many people from all over the world, and they just came by strange coincidences. There was one man, an intellectual professor. He came to great master. You see his picture here. That's my master's picture. This professor came to my master and said, "Master, I am a professor of psychology and philosophy. I have studied the possibilities of the mind, and I know all the stories you make. There are astral regions and causal regions, and there is a such kind of true home can all be made up by your mind. And I know it, I have studied this subject. Therefore, I don't believe what you are telling, that you really go somewhere to a true home. This is our only home. This is our only life." Great master said, "Professor, you have a right to believe what you like. My experience is a little different from yours, but we can easily agree to disagree." The professor went away. Next week he came again. Said, "Master, I have come to tell you, I don't believe any of your teachings. And these are all made up." Great master said, "I told you last week also, you have a different point of view, I have a different point of view. We can have differences in the opinion, but that doesn't matter. I don't try to convince you. You are not trying to convince me. We have different experiences." So the professor went away. Third week he came again on a weekend and said, "Master, I have come to tell you, I don't believe what you tell us." Great Master said, I understand you told me 2 times earlier, but why are you coming to me again and again telling me the same thing? He said, I don't know why I'm pulled to you. I don't know what makes me feel I have to come and see you. I don't know what happens to me. I feel good to come and tell you that you don't know anything. The strange thing is, that man fell so much in love with the Master, was initiated and made good progress. And I had an opportunity to see that man. So that is why the pull of a perfect living Master is coming not from the mind, not from the body, not from the sense perceptions. It's coming from the soul and touching our soul. When soul contacts soul, it's a subtle feeling inside. Something is pulling us, and the mind can't understand it. The mind sometimes wants to disprove. Mind says, I can't be sure. Sometimes it says, I'm afraid. There can be fear. I remember some people once came from a church, and a friend of mine had invited them to come and listen to me, and they had their beads ready. They were sitting at the back, and when I started speaking, they were moving the beads, save our souls, save our souls. Maybe devil has come. This is how the mind works. And yet, the pull of a perfect living Master, of his unconditional love, is so strong that ultimately, I say ultimately because we are living in a world of time, and events happen in time, and eventually we are totally in love with the Master. Master's love pulls us. And why is that? Because if you want to go beyond the mind, only that will work what is beyond the mind. Effort of any kind, struggle of any kind is a mental struggle. The mind struggles. I want to work hard. Then only I can get something. The mind has been indoctrinated with this thinking, not this lifetime. For several lifetimes, we have carried the same mind with us for several lifetimes. And that mind thinks we can get nothing without effort, and even on the spiritual path, we can't get anything without effort. So when perfect living Masters come and see us, what do they come for? Have they come to teach us some system of meditation? Have they come to tell us how to reach God? Have they come to give us discourses? What do they come into our life for? Very simple answer. The true answer, they come to take us back to our true home, period. The rest is a game with the mind. They tell us, we'll go together to our true home. I've come for that purpose. And we say, what should I do for that? Okay, meditate. More meditation. Struggle. Follow these rules. The mind does not accept. If they don't say those things, we don't accept it. There has to be some method, some struggle. Our mind is so indoctrinated with that idea that we cannot do anything unless we struggle. So they give us all the methods of meditation to satisfy the mind. And the mind can make some progress with that effort. Effort can take us to a withdrawal of attention through meditation. Simple practice of dying while living, which means that you pull your awareness from outside, put it inside, you become unaware of the world, then you become unaware of your body, and you can get a higher experience. You can do that with struggle. You can do with mental effort, with meditation. You can even go higher if you learn higher techniques of meditation, which is done meditation with the inner body, with which you operate inside. So those things are possible with struggle, but they are all within the mind. Perfect living Masters come to us to take us beyond the mind, to our true home, not in mental region. The three worlds are of the mind. And that is why they have come for something for which we have a deeper seeking. And only those who have deeper seeking, they are the ones who are met by these Masters by coincidence, and they are the ones that they take them back home. If somebody were told, look, you have been accepted by a perfect living Master, you have to do nothing. You say, how is that possible? I have to play my role. I have to do what I have to do. That is why it's for the mental reasons that all these perfect living masters have to act like ordinary masters, have to become teachers, teachers of meditation, teachers of yoga, any kind of yoga. Though they now say that the best yoga is Surt Shabd Yoga, which means Surt, which is attention, Shabd, the sound, yoga means union with your higher self. They use the method of using your attention to place in the sounds within.